Good morning, Unity of Richmond. Probably need to do that one more time since you lost that hour of sleep. Good morning, Unity of Richmond. Good morning. There you go. And welcome to all those that are here in the sanctuary as well as those that are online. We have an amazing service for you, so get ready and be ready. It won't be too much for you, again, to adjust into this new daylight savings time. So first, we will start off with the daily word, and it is about illuminating and welcoming the light. Taking a moment to appreciate the beauty of a sunset, I realize that in another part of the world, the first rays of a rising sun are bringing light to a morning sky. Whether I can see it or not, the sun never stops shining. Somewhere, a new day is dawning. Much more brilliantly than the sun, the light of God, too, is always shining. Sometimes my thoughts may be so focused on a challenging life situation that I do not sense the divine light. Then, in a flash of insight, I experience again the illuminating presence that even in my darkest moments is as near as my next thought. I affirm, let there be light. I breathe out frustration and worry. Breathing in, I am filled with the light of truth that illuminates my mind and shines from within my heart. Then God said, let there be light, and there was light. Genesis 1:3. Let's all repeat this affirmation after me 3 times. I welcome the light. I welcome the light. I welcome the light. I welcome the light. One more time. I welcome the light. Nice, nice. Awesome. Great energy. And with that light, we will go into prayer. Get yourself comfortable. Close your eyes, perhaps. Let that light just shine on your eyelids. And take a deep breath, welcoming in that light all the way inside. And breathe out with a gratitude for this breath and for this light. And for this time together, we thank you. And we are grateful for the community, both here in this room and online, and the community that we pour into as we go out from these doors, beyond these walls, transforming others' lives as ours has been transformed. And so it is. And now we will do the Metro Richmond prayer, which Richmond Hill provides for us, and many of us say together, power in prayer, right? So let's say it all together. We pray for the health care in metropolitan Richmond, for all the sick and their caregivers, doctors, nurses, hospice workers, home health care workers, and all who minister to the health of others, for clinics, medical personnel, and all institutions that serve persons who are uninsured or underinsured. All right, so next we have some opportunities to get more involved than just on Sunday. And for those, we will start with the invitation to check out our spring chant night with Dan O'Neill and Reverend Valerie K. Gunch. If you haven't been to one, you're in for a real treat. This will be Tuesday, March 21st at 7 p.m. So not this Tuesday, but the next one. Just go ahead and mark it on your calendars to join us. And after that, we have even more fun with music this month. And we will be introducing karaoke night. Our amazing Armand Leek is going to host karaoke night on the 4th Friday each month, starting this month on the 24th at 7 p.m. So whether you are able to participate up here on the stage or be the audience member that cheers for everybody, we want them all. And next up, we have a sacred service opportunity that Carol would like to share with everybody.
Good morning. Well, on behalf of the Prayer Chaplain Program, we're going to be having training the end of the month, and this is the time that we provide an opportunity for orientation. So after the service, if you'd like to ask about the Prayer Chaplain program, you might just be curious. If you come and talk to me, it isn't a commitment you're signing on the line right now. It's just gathering information and learning about the level of commitment that the prayer chaplains take, such as praying after the service with folks, and we do wellness call prayers, and we'll be having training the end of the month, Friday, here for sacred sharing, and then we're going to a retreat center for the day. So we're totally out of any responsibilities, just focusing on our own personal growth. And then finishing Sunday, Barbara Hess is doing the morning workshop training on change and grief. So we cover a lot of topics, and it's a wonderful opportunity. And many people, I think the first challenge is, oh my gosh, I got to pray with somebody. That's really scary. But we spend a lot of time in training, and you have material and guidance, and we pray together, and we learn, and then we pray together, and we'll learn something else. And so we're constantly praying. We have a wonderful group of supportive prayer chaplains. So if you're interested at all, even if you can't commit this year, but you want to talk to me about it, please come see me after the service. And if you're online, you can give me a call. You can call the church office if you don't have my number, and I'd be glad to talk to you about it. Thank you.
All right. Just for some heartedness, we had that music. Okay. So we also wanted to mention the RVA Environmental Film Festival 2023. The start this past Friday, March 10th, and it goes through Sunday, March 19th. You can check out the list of films and locations on their website. The film festival raises environmental awareness issues relevant to Richmond, Virginia, our nation, and our planet, right? So again, beyond the walls of this church. The event is open to the public, and it is free due to the generous support of sponsors. Next up, we want to thank everyone for all of their support that you have shown Vicki, our dear Vicki, who is in service today. Thank you. She said, for those online, she loves you all, and thank you, thank you, thank you. But if you feel led to do more, we do have a GoFundMe link account. I'm not sure what they call them these days, but anyway, there's an opportunity to provide more financial assistance to support through all the things as they do cost a bit when you do these, when transitions happen. So you can find that link in our newsletter, but if you don't get our newsletter for some reason and you're online, just make a comment. We can get it to you there, or find one of us after church. We'll be able to help you. All right, for the main event, this might be where the music was supposed to come in. I want to mention that we will have the Angel Harp Sacred Meditation at 1 p.m. today after the service that Armand and Angelina are offering. So you get a taste of it in the service, but those that are online, you might want to just listen on your phone and just head on down to see them in person at 1 o'clock. And you're in for a real treat here. They're also doing a comedy show on Tuesday the 14th at 7 p.m. Who doesn't need more laughter in their life? But they will have more to show and tell you about each of these events when it's their turn for the mic, which I'm about to turn over very shortly. All right, so we're already having fun, and you're not even up here yet. Hello. It's just the presence. So first, I will introduce them, and then we will let them have the show. So Armand is an award-winning songwriter, inspirational speaker whose enthusiastic presence inspires us all to love life passionately. Angelina's heart-opening and angelic voice draws from many languages. She was classically trained at Indiana University and was formerly with Epcot Center. They are international performers using songs, stories, and humor to remind us now to open our hearts and remember that we are meant to experience heaven on earth. Without further ado, I welcome to the stage Angelina and Armand.
We are delighted to be here with you today. It's been about a decade. Hey, Marlon. I see lots of wonderful faces that I've known forever. The first time I came here, I think it was 1998 BA, which is before Angelina. I met a lady at that back door who showed me in. Her name was Huggy. Do y'all remember it? Now, where is she? Has she still on? Well, hell, we're in Florida. We have to give her a Huggy. Anyway, so that was how far I go back with the church, and then Angelina started joining me, and it's been about a decade since we spoke here. And boy, have there been changes. In a country where many of our churches have lost their buildings or downsized or blah, 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 or actually closed the doors, y'all are thriving. And it makes it even more exciting to see that you have such a magnificent, stellar place. So thank you. The first thing we're going to do is to sing a song. It's a song that was inspired by a movie called The Best Exotic Marigold Hotel. Who's seen it? If you remember, the young innkeeper was a Unity guy. Whenever they would say, we're having a problem, he would always say, everything will be okay in the end. And they would say, yeah, but it's not okay right now. Well, it must not be the end. And of course, I said, that's a song. So we're going to sing it for you now in kind of a Calypso Island Jamaica groove. This is not cultural appropriation, it's cultural appreciation. Here we go. Everything will be okay in the end. If it's not okay, it's not the end. That's your part. Everything will be okay in the end. If it's not okay, it's not the end. Nothing in this universe will ever last. So if you're feeling low, this too shall pass. Nothing in this universe will ever last. So if you're feeling low, this too shall pass. Because everything will be okay in the end. If it's not okay, it's not the end. Everything will be okay in the end. If it's not okay, it's not the end. We're gonna sha-la-la-la, sha-la-la-la-la, sha-la-la-la-la-la. Every happy song has to have some sha-la-la-las in it. Sha-la-la-la-la, sha-la-la-la-la-la. Even when the darkness seems to hide you away, after every night, a brand new day. Even when outside it was 38, after every cold, a sunny day. A sunny day. Beautiful sunny day. Woo! Here we go, sing with me. Everything will be okay in the end. If it's not okay, it's not the end. Just the audience. Awesome. Sha-la-la-la. Sha-la-la-la-la. Sha-la-la-la-la-la. Sha-la-la-la-la. Sha-la-la-la-la-la. Okay, here comes the tricky part. Even when it all just seems to go your way, don't get attached, it's gonna change. Even when it all just seems to go your way, no matter how many times you saw The Secret, it's still gonna change. That's okay, because everything will be okay in the end. If it's not okay, it's not the end. All right, just you folks. Perfect. If it's not okay, it's not the end. It's not the end. It's not the end. So if you don't like the weather, wait a day. It's not the end. It's not the end. If you're you're tired of everybody always talking politics? It's not the end. It's not the end. Woo! It's not the end. But this is the end. Again, we're delighted to be back. We're delighted that Reverend Valerie, I guess she's taking the day off. I always wonder if ministers are away because they need valuable time off or because they don't know how to explain us to the congregation. We've been to churches before. Of course, we've seen Reverend Richard before, but we've been to churches before where we would go like 10 years and never see the minister. They would always leave, and so I had to look inward for that, but it always worked out. And I go back with Valerie since 1998 as well. So one of the things that bugs me, it's like a little pet peeve I have, is when people use the pulpit to self-promote. I'd like to read something from my book. Since I was last here. So this is one little page, and the chapter is called Faith in the System. Everything will be okay as soon as you are okay with everything, and that's the only time everything will be okay. And that was written by Michael Singer from the other Untethered Soul. That's not saying that you don't have moments that feel like they're un-okay. It's that you trust in divine order beneath the un-okay to know that everything will be okay, okay? Faith, F-A-I-T-H, has been said to stand for feeling all right in the heart, F-A-I-T-H. That doesn't mean we always understand everything. It doesn't mean that we don't get confused. It just means that we trust, as John Lennon said, everything will be okay in the end. Being confused is okay. Thinking that there is something wrong with us for being confused, that is the problem. As Byron Katie says, how do you know it was meant to happen this way? Because it happened this way. Yeah, exactly. All right. So today's, we're going to go into our meditation now. We're going to do a simple chant. I know this is probably a little bit in reverse of what you're used to, but we're going to sing a very simple chant. Peace I am, peace in every moment, peace in every moment, peace I am. We'll do that a few times, kind of let the music come in. Sometimes while you're singing, the left brain takes a back burner, which is a great thing when we're meditating. Peace I am, peace in every moment. Peace in every moment, peace I am. Peace I am, peace in every moment, peace in every moment, peace I am. Peace I am. Peace in every moment, peace in every moment, peace I am. Peace I am, peace in every moment, peace in every moment, peace I am. And we invite you to breathe in that peace as we quiet the mind and close our outer eyes if you'd like. Let go of any thoughts and cares you may have and bring yourself into this holy, sacred now moment. It can be helpful to bring your attention to the breath, really experiencing the breath, noticing the coolness as we inhale, either through the lips or the nostrils. And the warmth as we breathe out. This simple, involuntary, life-giving act connects us to the breath of God. Allow the music now to take you on your very own sacred journey into the peace of God. Very gently now, begin to bring your attention to this physical place, this sacred sanctuary, where we come to remember the truth of who we are and remind each other of that truth, so we can take that consciousness out into the world at large and remind us all that we are one. One spirit, part of one mind, sacred family of the universe. Thank you, Great Spirit, Father, Mother, God, Goddess, all that is, and so it is. Amen. Angelina will now sing the Lord's Prayer, and I will speak the Aramaic. Abun de Washmaya. Need to Kadash Mach. Tete Malkuta. Nehwai de Savinach. kana de boash maya o baracha
Give us this day
haulan lachma
our day.
de suknan yamana
Bread and forgive us our day.
washwakwan halbain
As
I
we
kana dafnan
forgive our debtors.
shwaken el hayabin
And lead us not
ulatala
in temptation,
el nisyona
but deliver us
el apasan
from evil.
min bisha
For thine is the kingdom,
Mital de la ki malkuta uhala utishmokta
and the glory forever.
la alam almin amen. And we invite you to breathe these words in, these words that were given to us by our great way shower, Jesus, reminding us that we were meant to experience heaven on earth right here, right now. And so it is. So we are sharing my favorite service that we do now.
Well, before we get started, I'm just going to talk about a little something that's on stage right now, and that's Armand's jacket. It's a bit loud and happy and joyous, but I just want to get that out before we start, and then people start going, why is he wearing that jacket? That's a bit much for Sunday
Just know
morning.
this, when I bought the jacket, it came with matching pants, and she went, She said, I love Rip Taylor, but you don't need to look like Rip Taylor. So anyway, you got to be over 60 to know who that is probably. Anyway, so yes, our message today is there's no such thing as rejection, and we're going to be talking about what feels like rejection, but what's really going on in the big picture. Anybody ever felt rejected? It's not a good feeling. And it's very human. It's very natural when something doesn't go the way you think it ought to go to feel rejection, okay? And so we're not encouraging you to pretend like you don't feel stuff.
Right.
Feel it. But
Because if you don't, then you're either, excuse me, angry or upset or sad, and you don't let that expression out, then it gets built up in you and gets stuck in you, and then you can't have that joy, all-around joy.
also known as emotional constipation. And we don't want anybody to be that irregular. So the challenge is, and I think that's where Unity really has helped me so much since I founded in 1984, is that I have all these tools to remind me that all is well. My favorite tool, our go-to, we don't believe in a lot of absolutes, but we have one, divine order. We absolutely believe that things are working out.
Right, that
in
helps
divine
us so
order.
much. In fact, the other day, on Friday, we were going to Myrtle Beach on our way up here, and the weather was bad, so traffic was really bad, and it took us a lot longer to get there, and then we got lost. Once we were in Myrtle Beach, we couldn't get to our friend's house, and we're both getting agitated and upset and all, and then one of us whispered, divine order. We're supposed to be here right now in this, car after 9 hours, which it should have only taken
7.
7.
So yeah, it's just these wonderful tools. And rejection, even though it feels bad, it's really not accurate. Because if you think about all the things in your life that didn't go the way you wanted them to, I would say most of them you realize ended up with something better. The most dramatic example of, I would say, what can feel like rejection is divorce. Every single thing that didn't get worked on gets to get worked on right then. Every childhood thing, every feeling of rejection, every disappointment happens. And yet, divorce is important in certain cases so people can be with the right people.
That's right.
And it happened to both of us. But I can tell you when it was happening, I didn't see her and she didn't see me. We both felt the pain and the disappointment. That's to me what the Unity principles are all about, is narrowing that gap between, oh my God, everything's going wrong, to I trust in divine order. And the quicker we can get that gap to be there. And you can buy property there and be thinking the whole entire life that something didn't happen the way it was supposed to. And I promise you that will not serve you. Okay, it will not serve you. I'm sure that we've all lost jobs that we loved and ended up getting led to a better job.
Well, I'll do an example of that. So when I first started working with Armand, I was also working at Epcot Center. And so I would go on tours with Armand, but I always had someone to work my shifts, so to speak. If they would work mine, I would work theirs and all. And it got a little stressful, and my stage manager wasn't happy with the whole thing and all that. And then 9/11 happened, which caused people not to travel, and so Disney made all these cuts on things that weren't, essential for Epcot Center. And my group was one of the groups that got let go.
I told her she got fired. She goes, I was let go.
I was let go.
That's
I
our
wasn't
argument
fired.
for 22 years.
But
You
what
almost said it, by the way. You almost said
know.
fired. See?
what that did was open the door for me to do this full time with Armand. So it was
And I'm
quite a
sure we
blessing.
all have a million of those stories. And to me, that's what faith is. That's why I read that about faith. Faith doesn't mean we understand it or that it feels good. Faith means that we trust in a higher power even while we don't feel good. COVID really, it was super, super challenging for me. Can you imagine me at home in a house for 15 months? My poor wife. Poor wife. I mean, I'm meant to perform. I'm meant to be out. I'm meant to meet people. I didn't realize how attached to you I am. And Wayne Dyer said something years ago that totally, you ever had something really resonate with you, you know it's true, and then you have a chance to practice what you heard? He said, if you are what you do, then when you don't, you aren't. I didn't know that this ministry, that I had wrapped myself up so much in it that I had lost me until it went away, and I didn't have me. And I went, I got to find me. So even though it was one of the most uncomfortable times in my life, I found me. One of the things I found about me, and anybody that knows me for more than 15 minutes knew this, even though I didn't, I have adult ADHD. Now, I say C because it's a condition, not a disorder. But I didn't know there was treatment. I didn't know anything. I thought this was just something that you had as a kid, and you outgrew, and it went away. And then when I started studying, one of the reasons I felt so horrible is because my dopamine went away when I lost my gig. Well, ADHD is a dopamine deficiency. Well, I was compensating by keeping my poor wife on the road 270 days a year, which did not work for her. That was too much. But I had to keep that dopamine rich. Calling administrators, calling music directors, setting up sound, booking churches, seeing people. When that dopamine went away, that's when I really noticed I had a deficiency. So I got help.
Well, you also, because you're an extrovert, he gets recharged by being around people. And so for that amount of time not to be really around people, he was deficient in vitamin C, which is...
The second vitamin C, Vitamin Connect. And we all need the second vitamin C,
do.
but extroverts need it more. ADHD people need it more. That's why they're always trying to get your attention. Just pay attention to me. That's it. And so the thing is, as you get more treatment for stuff like that, and we get rid of the stigma around mental conditions, I tell people I do not have a mental disability until I found out that if you have diagnosed ADHD, you can get a lifetime national park pass. The day I applied for that, I had a disability. I wrote to them. I got the pass. I no longer have that disability. It's awesome. You just got to use the system, baby. Sometimes it works. Now, Angelina had a whole different experience being at home for 15 months. It was like, oh, God, please don't make me not go on the road 270 days a year and have to be in my house.
Right, because I'm more of the introvert. And so it's really important that I recharge by being by myself. And my home, I feel, is my sanctuary, and that's the best place that I can really get that recharge and that peace that I need to be joyous. So I found it was really good for me to have that time off because I realized I was getting a little burned out from being on the road for 270 days a year. And I did need a break. I needed to be home. I needed, every time I was home, it's like, oh God, I need to get this done. I need to get this done, and I'm never home enough to get it done. So I was able to clean out closets, clean out the garage. The house looks great. Now I can get back on the road. But what I also found out is something interesting. I had had a lump in my throat for like 3 or 4 years. And so I went to the ear, nose, throat doctor and asked, what could this be? Can you help me? And he said, well, it's nothing with your vocal cords. Your vocal cords are fine. But what they call it is a global sensation. And they don't really know what causes it, but they find that it appears to be stress and anxiety. So for me, being home that full amount of time, I no longer have that lump in my throat. And I am so grateful for that, so grateful. So for me, it was important. I needed to be home. And I know it was really bad for so many, people with sickness, with financial struggles, with mental illness. And I know it's been really hard for so many. But for this little introvert here, it was important.
And we did find a balance, because extroverts think that introverts want us to help them do more stuff. They're stuck. We're going to help them. And it's not true. We're stuck. We need them to help us. And so we work together to find our new balance. One of my prayers was, God, something in between 2019 and 2020. Just something in between. Don't need to be that busy as I was in 2019 or completely off as we were in 2020. And that's what 2023 is appearing to be. And again, all because of what felt like a rejection, a world rejection. So many people, and there's so much loss. And yet, people have these stories all the time about things that they discovered and found, either a new vocation or a new lifestyle, or they found the love of their life, whatever.
What did you find?
Well, I found fishing. When I was a little kid, I used to fish with my dad. And when I got lonely during COVID, I started fishing. And all I did was think about all the things I'm grateful for all day. She called herself a fisherman's widow because I was gone 8 hours a day because I had to get out of the house. And then she said, your fishing's great, but you're still depressed. You need people. I go, we can't go anywhere. We can't play anywhere. It's not working. She goes, you need to come out with me when I run errands. And she said, we're going to go to Joann's Fabrics today. And Hobby Lobby. And I said, please don't make me go. She goes, you need to go. And I went, and I had a blast.
He is really fun to do errands with because of his joy and the joy that he gives to others. And I love going to doing errands.
So then it was then she stepped it up. It was like Michael's, Bed Bath & Beyond. Then she says, tomorrow we're going somewhere. And I said, oh no, what is it? She goes, Old Time Pottery. I ended up looking forward to where we were going to go.
Right.
I didn't care about the store. I cared about the people. I cared about telling jokes. I cared about bringing smiles. One day I did Yoda all day. Oh, you're looking good over there. Oh, the attractiveness is very strong in these two. Just for the whole day. I decided I was going to be Yoda. It was crazy. Squirrel. Okay, anyway, so we've already talked about these challenges that happen to us that feel like rejection that ended up moving us in another way. And one of my friends, she said to me one time, she said, there's no such thing as rejection. It's God pointing us in another direction. And that's another one of the tools I put in my toolbox. Whenever I feel disappointment, Disappointment comes from feeling things should have happened a certain way, okay? And when they don't, we feel disappointment. This is a tool to bust disappointment. There's no such thing as rejection. It's God pointing us in another direction. A great example of that is the two little kids who on Christmas Day, they open up their front door and somehow a horse has gone through their yard and done business in their yard. You know, a big pile of it. And the one kid goes, oh my God, it's Christmas Day and I got to smell this. The other kid goes, I know there's a pony around here somewhere, you know? And so that's, I would say the quicker we start looking, when something doesn't go the way we want it to, the quicker we start looking for the redirection, the quicker we'll move to that place of understanding.
So, like, I like when you say, like, we'll be at a restaurant and they'll say, I want scampi tonight. And we'll be at a restaurant and they're out of it. And what do you say, Armand?
I say, oh, it's Monday. Oh my God, I don't eat scampi on Monday, thank God. Now, what I'm doing is I'm just reminding myself that it's okay and that I wasn't supposed to have it or I would have it. And it doesn't mean you don't take responsibility for your actions. It doesn't mean you don't hold yourself accountable. You just know that if it happened, and let it go. Anybody watch Ted Lasso? We had a few Ted Lasso people. We're complete junkies. We turned Reverend Thelma Smith on to 2 episodes last night. I think she's a junkie now, too. But one of the things he says, when you've done something that doesn't feel good, that you either didn't do a good job, or he says, be like a goldfish, because a goldfish has the shortest memory, and short memories make you happy. So don't beat yourself up and hold on to the things you've done in the past and bring them into the present and keep beating yourself up. And that's what I love about not beating yourself up when things don't go your way. Oh, I should have gotten here earlier. I just missed the early bird special. No, you got here right when you were supposed to. And let yourself be gentle with yourself. Here's a good example. While we were during COVID, we made one of these crazy ideas that a lot of people did because they were bored, to do an addition on their home or to be a refurb. So you're making less money, so you're going to spend more money. Makes no sense. Then we figured out a way to get it all to work. And then the supplies went up by 50% and the labor went up by 50%. So it ended up costing us about 20 grand more than was expected. And we both kept saying, we got the guidance to do this. We got the guidance to do this. It didn't work out exactly the way we wanted it to, but we're going to follow through for a designated.
Well, we're already halfway done.
We were kind of in there. So one day it starts raining. I'm taking a nap upstairs and it starts raining, and they hadn't secured the roof yet for the new place.
And they didn't tarp it correctly, I guess. So I'm in the living room or whatever, and I'm hearing this little drip sound. I'm like, that's interesting. And so I go over to where the drip is, and there's water dripping out of where it's supposed to connect. And so I put a bucket under that, and then all of a sudden it's a little bit more than just a drip, and there's another one over here and another one over here.
Have you ever seen those Chinese acrobats that spin? That was my wife. She's like.
So I called Armand down. Please help, Armand, I need you. And so he came down.
I said, we got a serious situation here. We just got to tackle it. So my first thing was, anybody that's on Zoom right now, something's going to happen in your house. Alexa, play Okay in the End by Armand and Angelina. So that comes on, so I get the happy music going on. Everything will be okay in the end, because it certainly didn't feel okay right then. And Angelina says, well, I know my main job, what I love to do is make lemonade out of lemons, but we don't have any lemons.
Right, we don't have any lemons, but I have limes, so let's make margaritas.
So margaritas and music, and it took us about 8 hours, spin cycle on the towels, pulling the carpet back, taking all the furniture out of that room. We saved everything.
We did. And if we had been on the road and that happened, we would not have been there to save everything and all. So
I don't even want to think about
we
that.
were grateful that we were there.
And so it all worked out. So then a couple of days later, the insurance adjuster comes back and comes over and says, okay, here's the situation. You've got about $6,000 worth of damage. And I said, honestly, I think we can steam clean the carpet and save it. No, nope, you've got to pay you for full replacement. And I said, all this furniture that has this little watermark, it's watermarked. We'll deal with it. We're going to use it. He goes, nope, got to give you full replacement. Give you the full $6,000. And it only cost us maybe about $800 or $900 to do the repair on the drywall. Guess where that extra money went? To pay for the dumb room we built. Now, when it was happening, it felt like rejection. But after it was all over, it was an opportunity for us to think positive and actually end up with extra money to help us pay for this thing.
As crazy as it was to build that addition, we love that room. And so we're very happy.
It's the best room in our house. So there's no such thing as rejection. It's God pointing us in another direction. Have you noticed that rhymes? You cannot give a songwriter something that rhymes and not expect a song to come out of it. So one day I'm going, there's no such thing as rejection. It's God pointing us in another direction. Na, 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 na. And I realized I had written a pirate song. Arr. How much does it cost for a pirate to get their ears pierced? About $1 an ear. Arr. Where do pirates eat fast food? Arby's. Where does a pirate get their hook? From the second-hand shop. Arr. Last one. How much does it cost for a pirate to get a peg and a hook? An arm and a leg. Arr. All right, let's sing the song. We hope you will sing with us. There's no such thing as rejection. It's God pointing us in another direction. And if that ends up in your head as an earworm and you think about singing this song every time something doesn't go your way, you will make my day. There's no such thing as rejection. It's God pointing us in another direction. It's never rejection. It's God pointing us in another direction. Oi! Na, 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 na. There's no such thing as rejection. It's God pointing us in another direction. It's never rejection. It's God pointing us in another direction. Na, 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 na. On the day that I was born and slapped upon my cheeks, you'd think that I would ascertain the world as rather bleak. But I heard a voice of wisdom, and in my ear would ring, don't think the world is against you. There's no such thing. The world is never against you. There's no such thing. Your turn. There's no such thing as rejection. It's God pointing us in another direction. It's never rejection. It's God pointing us in another direction. Na, 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 na. At an early age, I knew true love would be my quest. Though many trials and tribulations put me through the test, there were a dozen lovely maidens, much heartache they would bring. I thought the world was against me, but there's no such thing. I thought the world was against me, but there's no such thing. Your turn. Na, 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 na. Oi, there's no such thing as rejection. It's God pointing us in another direction. It's never rejection. It's God pointing us in another direction. Na, 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 na. Through my renaissance into my middle ages, becoming fully realized. Woo. I trust my inner sages. My quest is done, I found my bride, this holy grail I bring. The world is never against us. There's no such thing. The world is never against us, cause there's no such thing. Oi! Na, 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 Thank you, my lords and ladies. Okay, one last pirate joke before we sing the kids in. What's a pirate's favorite letter? You'd think it was R, but we fancy the C. Oh, okay. So, are we going to sing "Walking in the Light" right here? We got kids? Oh, we're finding the kids. Good. We need to practice it anyway. We are walking in the light, in the light, in the light. We are walking in the light, in the light of God. In the light, 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 in the light of God. We are walking in the light, in the light, in the light. We are walking in the light, in the light of God. They're around here somewhere. In the light, 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 in the light of God. Okay.
So probably the reason is it's the teens that are down there, and teens.
Teens.
So one of my daughters is one of them, so I'm not speaking out of turn. All right, so we will pray, though, for our youth. Here they are.
We are walking in the light, in the light, in the light. Teens are walking in the light, in the light of God. Well, I have a special announcement because I used to be a YOU sponsor, and then Angelina and I got to do music at the rallies, and one of our teens, who's no longer a teen, is Rebecca Gaunt, who's here today, one of my YOUers. Yay!
Y'all want to share what you did today? Sure. Besides the twin?
Yeah. Today we talked about the white stone, and we did our white stone ceremony. And we talked about a word that we were gonna implement for a year, and my word was abundance. So I would have a positive and uplifting year.
I picked strength because I feel like this year has been a little bit of a struggle for me. But strength is gonna help me push through all of my struggles, whether it be at school or at home. And I will power through the year with strength.
Amen.
Thank you, ladies. So let's pray for our youth, and then they can either sit down or go back downstairs. So we see our youth of Unity program growing and thriving with activity. Our programs teach and empower children and youth to live authentic and powerful lives using our Unity principles. And so it is.
With abundance and strength. Woo!
So now if our ushers will join us up front. All right, let's pray for our offerings. Divine love expressing through me blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. I am grateful.
Please join us. Love, make me an instrument of your peace. Love, make me an instrument of your peace. Love, make me an instrument of your peace. Love, make me an instrument your peace. Once more. Love, make me an instrument of your peace. And so it is.
Back on up. And together we will bless these offerings. We give thanks for the gifts that will support our mission of creating a spiritually awakened world. So it is. So real quick, we do have some amazing ways to listen to Armand and Angelina post this service. So besides our 1 o'clock today after church and the comedy thing coming up this week, we also they have some CDs and things out there, and so they want everyone to have their music. So they do offer their CDs on a suggested exchange basis. Please take what you desire, give from your heart, and feel free to tithe in the future if you don't have it now. So make sure you check out that after the service. And now I would love to thank both of them for their amazing gifts. Thank you, Armand and Angelina. Definitely a one-of-a-kind service and so integrated into all that we do here at Unity of Richmond. So thank you, thank you, thank you. Also want to thank our audiovisual crew. So we have Natasha, Rich, and Bernice. Thank you. Thank you to our YOU teacher and the youth for joining us today. So thank you, Maggie and ladies. And thank you also for Reverend Valerie, just for all that she does, for Debbie and Penelope and all their help around. And thank you for having me to practice my speaking skills. And yes, if I missed anybody, I apologize, but we would like to call up the prayer chaplains, and they are available for you to pray in confidentiality after the service. So please see them after the service. They're standing up now. And if you have any prayer needs online, just let us know, and we'll reach out to you when we can. So now we will do the prayer of protection. So if you want to stand up. And together, the light of God surrounds us, the love of God enfolds us, the power of God protects us, the presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well. Woo! And now we'll have a little bit different closing day by day with Angelina and Armand.
From Godspell, one of our favorite musicals, we also want to thank everybody on the team that made our day so simple here. Created such a nice structure and just so much welcoming. We felt like the prodigal son and daughter coming home. So thank you all. Day by day, day by day. Oh, dear God, oh, dear God, three things I pray. We got the word. To see thee more clearly, love thee more dearly, follow thee more nearly, day by day. Let's pick it up a little bit. Come on, let's pick it up. Woo! Day by day, day by day. Oh, dear Lord, three things I pray. To see thee more clearly, love thee more dearly, follow thee more nearly, day by day. We need some disco. Day by day. Whoop, whoop. Day by day. Oh, dear Lord. to see thee more clearly, love thee more dearly, see thee more clearly, love thee more dearly, follow thee more dearly, day by day. Day by 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 day. Thank you for having us. We'll see you this afternoon and Tuesday night. Happy trails.